Hi, everybody. It is, what's today's date? Wednesday. That holiday weekend got me all messed up. So today's Wednesday. We're going to be doing a detox yoga flow today. So when we say detox, we mean that we want to try to flush out some toxins in the body that we may have put into our body over the weekend. So I don't know about you, but I definitely had plenty of wine over Memorial Day weekend. So hi, honey. Would you like to say hi? There's honey. So we're going to be doing a class that sort of focuses on essentially flushing out the liver and just recirculating a lot of blood and oxygen through our body so that we can sweat it out. We can flush everything out by going upside down. We'll be doing a lot of twisting and like things that will essentially massage the liver. So we're going to get started in legs up the wall pose. So the way that you get into this pose, you want to have your mat flush with the wall. So I don't have mine up against the wall right now, but you essentially want to have it lengthwise, perpendicular to the wall, with the bottom of the wall, with the bottom of your mat touching the wall. And then you're going to go and sit right up next to the wall. So imagine the wall is here. I'm sitting right next to it with my right hip flush with the wall. You're going to lay back completely onto your back with your hips still against the wall. And then you're going to take your knees into your chest, take your legs up towards the ceiling, and then just slowly scoot your butt so that it's still touching, so that it's completely touching the wall. So it kind of looks like, I just want to show you before I get into it. So I'm completely flush with the wall here. I'm actually, rather than laying backwards, I'm going to lay on my side away from the wall. So my shoulders are away from the wall, but I'm going to continue to press my sit bones against the wall as I lay down. And then I'm going to turn onto my back and take my legs up. So you should, from entering this way, you should have your sit bones touching the wall. Something that may aid in some comfort for you in this position is taking a pillow and placing it underneath your sacrum. So right against the wall so that your sacrum is resting on top of that pillow. And that allows the pelvis to tilt slightly so that if your hamstrings are a little bit tight, it's a little bit easier for you to be doing this position if your hamstrings are tighter by having a pillow underneath your sacrum. So we're going to start here in this pose. And legs up the wall pose is essentially a really, really, really nice inversion, a restorative inversion that just helps calm the nervous system. It helps redirect the lines of energy that are running through the body that usually go up and up from the crown of your head down to your feet. And it reverses the direction. So now we're just reversing the direction of our blood flow, the oxygen, the energy that's moving through our body. So it's a nice way to reset. So if you're not in this position yet, just make sure that when you get into it, you keep your sit bones right up against the wall. And then we'll stay here for a couple minutes. But once we exit this position, if you don't already have your props nearby, I want you to have some pillows and blankets. And if you have yoga blocks, those would be awesome too. So, and that's pretty much all we'll need. But we'll start here. And we're just going to let our palms rest on the floor next to us with the palms facing up. So the backs of our hands are on the mat. And then see if you can lift your shoulder blades up off of the ground and pull them together underneath you and then lay back down. So we want a nice broad chest, broad collarbones. And then just tuck your chin ever so slightly so that your neck is long and then start to notice anywhere in your body that is feeling anything. So feeling tight, maybe feeling sore, feeling like you have an injury maybe. And just taking the time to notice each of those parts of your body that you're feeling something off or something at all. Maybe you're feeling great, that's awesome too, but making sure that throughout the class that we still continue to pay attention to those parts of our body that are not feeling the best. And that we take care to notice if at any point in any posture you're crossing of the line from discomfort because you're challenging yourself and pain. So you don't want to ever cross that point, that threshold. We never want to get to the point where we're in a pose and it's painful. So if you ever start to feel that, if there's anything that's happening throughout class that, you know, that point of injury or that place that's super tight or super sore and it's painful, then wherever you are, just back out of that position. But just making sure that we're respecting and nurturing our bodies rather than pushing them farther than they should be going. So a challenge is okay, but when it comes to the point of pain, that's where we want to stop and back out. So now take some moments to start to deepen your breath. So taking some deeper breaths in and out the nose. See if you can match the length of your inhales to your exhales so that it's sort of this one long oceanic wave-like breath coming in and out of the nose. If your eyes are not closed, I encourage you to close them here. Continue that deep breath, the deep breathing cycle. Just allow your body to fully relax in this pose. Go ahead and take another round of deep breaths here. And then as you inhale, start to wiggle your toes a little bit. And then as you exhale, start to drag the heels down the wall and bend into the knees. So soles of the feet should be flat on the wall. Take an inhale breath. And an exhale out. Slowly as you inhale, start to walk your feet over to the side. We're going to start to roll onto our sides in a fetal position. So either right or left side, it doesn't matter. And take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. As you inhale, place your whatever palm is closest to the mat, place it onto the mat to push yourself up to a seat. And make your way into the center of your mat on hands and knees. So we're going to come into tabletop position. So on our hands and knees and tabletop, we want our hips stacked directly over our knees and then our shoulders stacked directly over our wrists. So your spine is long and straight and it's natural, just its natural curve. Belly is pulled in tight, ribs are pulling together. As you inhale, start to drop your belly down towards the mat and lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Start to pull your chest through your shoulders, broaden at the collarbones, and then tip your chin up for cow pose. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to take your tailbone down towards your knees, Pull your navel in towards your spine. Press into the palms to puff up your upper back. And then take your chin into your chest for cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly down to the mat. Lift your tailbone, lift your chin. Move your chest forward and up. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your upper back and curl everything under, including the tailbone and the chin. Inhale into cow pose. Chin goes high, tailbone goes high. And then exhale, rounding and curling into cat pose. One more round with your own breath. And then we'll return to tabletop position. You're going to start to reach your right arm forward, like you're shaking somebody's hand out in front of you. And then start to drag your left foot back, your left leg back, and lift your left leg from the inner thigh and the heel of the foot. So you want to keep that left foot flexed. Pull your navel in towards your spine and press firmly out of that left palm. Spread the fingertips wide to create some support there. So we want to pull that belly in super tight. Maybe drop the left hip a little bit so that your hips are in line with one another. And take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, you're going to pull your elbow and pull your knee together underneath you to crunch in. Inhale, extend that leg and arm in opposite directions. And then exhale, pull them in towards the center of your body to crunch in. Inhale, straighten the leg and the arm, reach forward, reach backwards, and then exhale, crunch in. 2 more times. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to crunch in. Inhale to straighten. Keep that belly in tight. And then exhale to crunch in. Inhale to straighten. And then just release that right palm down, the left knee down. Start to reach that left arm forward. So palms facing your right side. And then you're going to reach the right leg back. Lift through the inner thigh and through the heel of the right foot. Pull the belly in tight. Reach that left arm as far forward as you can. Press firmly out of that right palm to give yourself some support and draw that navel towards your spine. Take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to crunch in. Take the left elbow to the right knee. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to crunch in. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, crunch in. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to crunch in. Inhale to straighten the leg, the arm, and then just release back to tabletop position. As you inhale, you're going to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, leaving that left palm down onto the mat. Take an inhale breath, reach really high up. And then as you exhale, you're going to thread the right arm underneath your left arm, underneath the left armpit, and drop your right shoulder and your right ear down to the center of your mat. So we're in thread the needle pose. You can keep that left palm exactly where it is, or you can take it towards the front of your mat, straighten the right arm and have the left arm, and have the left bicep next to the left ear. This is option 1. Option 2 is to bind the left arm behind your low back and tuck your fingertips on top of your right thigh, in between the ribs and the thigh. So a few options here with this, but we want to see if we can work the collarbones and the shoulders open to face the left side of the room, all while keeping our pelvis and our hip bones pointing directly down to the mat. So the twist comes from our thoracic spine rather than in the hips. Deep breaths in through the nose and deep breaths out. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Last breath in. And then as you exhale, plant the left palm right underneath that left shoulder. Press into the left palm to reach that right arm back up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, plant the right palm down onto the mat. Inhale, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you're going to thread that left arm underneath the right armpit. Drop the left shoulder and the left ear down on the center of your mat. And then you can keep your right palm as is, or you can take it above or at the top of your mat, where your right bicep is in line with your right ear. Or option to wrap that left arm or right arm behind you and tuck your fingertips towards the top of your thigh for the bind. See if you can press into the left shoulder and the left arm to open up that right shoulder, the collarbones and your chest to face the right side of the room. So keeping that spine or that twist coming from the thoracic spine while we keep our pelvis and our front hip bones pointed straight down towards the mat. And we're taking deep breaths here. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, plant that right palm right underneath your right shoulder. Press into that palm to lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, place the left palm down onto the mat. Walk your hands out about 6 inches in front of where they are. So we're close to the top of the mat. Our shoulders are no longer right over our wrists, right? Then you're gonna tuck your back toes underneath you. I don't know why I say back toes, like you don't have front toes. Tuck your toes underneath you and then start to lift your knees off of the ground and straighten the legs as much as you can, sending your hips high and back and sinking your chest backwards towards your shins. Straightening the arms, and then our hands want to be shoulder width distance apart with our fingers spread super, super wide. And then see if you can pull your heels or sink your heels down towards the mat. And notice that mine are touching. They do not have to touch. We just want to sink them in that direction. Keep a soft micro bend into the knees. And then see if you can press into the palms so much that you lift out of the wrists and make your spine even longer. See if you can spin your biceps up towards the ceiling and roll your triceps down towards the mat. So we want to rotate our arms in that direction. And we're taking some deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Walk your feet in like 3 inches. And then so we're in the short downward dog stance. Take your right palm and grab your left ankle. So we're coming into this down dog twist. And using that hand on the left ankle, you're gonna pull your chest over towards the underneath your left armpit and see if you can take your ear next to your left bicep. So we wanna rotate, again, we're just twisting here, finding a nice juicy twist. Soft bend in the left elbow. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release. Place that right palm back where it was before, and then we're gonna take our left hand and grab our right ankle. And then use the strength of your hand to pull your chest underneath the right armpit, and you can take your ear into your bicep. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Last breath in. And then exhale, release, left palm comes back to the top of the mat. You're gonna come up onto your tippy toes and then start to walk on your tippy toes up towards the front of your mat. Your feet are hips width distance apart, so plenty of space between your feet here. Bend into the knees and drop your chest so that it's resting on top of your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. And then sway from side to side for a nice juicy forward fold, ragdoll pose. Letting the hamstrings open up, the calves open up. One more breath in. And a deep breath out. As you inhale, you're going to come up halfway. So we're only rising halfway here, only to the point where we can find a flat back. My hands are on my shins, so place your hands on your shins, or if you are open enough, you can keep the fingertips down towards the ground, but we want to have a flat back here. So weight is in the toes, crown of the head is reaching forward, shoulders are moving down the back and away from the ears. Take an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to take your hands into prayer. So we're going to sit into chair pose directly from here. And you have 2 options with your feet. You can keep them at that hips width distance if you have knee problems, or you can toe heel your feet together so that your big toes are touching but heels are slightly apart. Then you're going to sit your hips low and sit into chair pose. So in chair pose, weight is completely in the heels. So much so that we can actually look down and see our toes and lift them off of the ground and wiggle them. And then your belly is pulled in tight towards your spine. We are pulling our ribs together. And then from our hands in prayer, reach your arms forward and maybe wide like a V if your shoulders are pretty tight. Squeeze the thighs together if your toes are touching, and squeeze the glutes together. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, we're rising all the way to standing, arms come in prayer, or hands come in prayer in front of our hearts. Take a deep breath in through the nose, close your eyes, and then exhale, breath out the mouth. Just sigh it out. Inhale through the nose, we're gonna do that again. Exhale, big breath out the mouth. Open the eyes slowly. And take an inhale breath. And a gentle breath out. Inhale into chair pose. We're going to move through some sun salutation B. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise for that halfway lift. Come into that flat back with palms onto the shins or fingertips on the earth. And then as you exhale, you're going to plant your hands onto the mat, step back into high plank pose. And then two options. You can either lower the knees, lower the belly, untuck the toes, lift your shoulders and your chest off of the mat into cobra pose while keeping little to no weight in the palms, tops of the feet pressing down, pubic bone pressing down. And then exhale, forehead comes down. You press back into tabletop pose, tuck the back toes under, and then press back to downward facing dog. So there's an option there, or from high plank, you shift your shoulders forward, come up onto the tippy toes of your feet. So shoulders are moving past the fingertips. And then you lower halfway down into a tricep push-up or chaturanga push-up. Tricep push-ups, you never let your shoulders dip below your elbows, so they're in line with one another. Then you flip your toes, straighten the arms, and pull your chest through and forward, broaden at the collarbones. Knees are lifted off of the mat. Glutes are squeezed together. This is upward facing dog. Chin is tucked. And then as you exhale, you're going to use the strength of your core to pull your belly up, lift your hips high, untuck your toes along the way as you press back to downward facing dog. So that's two options for the flow throughout your entire class. So again, really quick, from high plank, you can either lower the knees, lower onto the chest, come up into low cobra, press back into tabletop, and then downward dog. Or from high plank, shift forward, lower halfway down for chaturanga, inhale into upward dog, and then downward facing dog. So those are your two options for the flow throughout the entire class. You can either skip it completely, do one or the other, mix them up. It's totally up to you. So from here, we're going to inhale and reach our right arm up to, do not listen to me there. We're going to inhale, take an inhale breath in downward facing dog. And then as you exhale, you're going to step your right foot right behind your right wrist. Drop your left heel down so that your left foot is at a 45-degree angle, and have your feet about hips width distance apart, like on train tracks. And then we're going to start to lift our belly towards our spine and reach our arms forward and up for warrior one. So in warrior one, we want to try to square our hips towards the front of the room as much as we can, which is why I say you can start with a little bit of a wider stance. Arms are overhead. Let's see if I can move this back a little bit. That's better. Just realized I couldn't see anything above my shoulders. Okay. That should be all right. So from warrior one, we want to see if we can drop the right hip down, pull the left hip forward, and put a lot of pressure in the outer edge of that left foot. Arms come up overhead, shoulder blades are dropping down to the back so that we have a nice long neck and a lot of space between the ears and the shoulders. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to reach forward, release the heel, frame the front foot with your hands, step that right foot back to high plank, and then move through your variation, either lowering to the knees or lowering halfway down, inhaling into cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhaling into downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath. And an exhale out. Inhale, step your left foot forward behind the left wrist. Drop the right heel down so that your foot is at an angle. And you're going to pull your belly in towards your spine and start to reach your arms forward and then rise all the way up for warrior one. So really root down into the outer edge of that right foot. See if you can drop the left hip down and pull that right hip forward to get square, a little bit more square in the hips. Arms are reaching overhead, shoulders are softened away from the ears, belly is pulled in tight. Inhale, breath through the nose. Exhale, start to reach forward. You're going to frame your front foot with your hands, step that left foot back, and then lower either halfway or all the way down. Inhale into upward or facing dog or low cobra. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath out. Breath in. And deep breath out. Start to walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat. As you inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then as you exhale, fold all the way down. Forward fold. And then we're going to inhale back into chair pose. So adjust your stance however you'd like. So toes touching or heels slightly apart, or feet or hips distance apart. And then sit your hips low and then reach your arms forward and up. Weight is in the heels, belly is pulled in towards the spine. See if you can take that dip out of the low back. One breath in, and then exhale, rise. So we're gonna do that 2 more times a little faster now that you kind of know the sequence. As you inhale, you're gonna sit your hips low and reach your arms forward and up. And then as you exhale, we're gonna fold forward into a forward fold. Inhale, rise for that halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your hands down onto the mat, step back into high plank, and then move through your variation, either lowering all the way down or halfway. Inhaling into upward dog or low cobra. Exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot forward behind the right wrist. Drop that left heel down, rise for warrior one. Arms come up overhead. Square the hips towards the front of the room. Breath in. As you exhale, start to reach forward, frame your front foot with your hands, step that right foot back for high plank. Lower halfway or all the way down as you exhale. Inhale into cobra or upward dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot behind the left wrist. Drop the right heel down, rise all the way up, warrior one. Square the hips towards the front of the room, soften the shoulders, pull the belly in. Inhale, breath. As you exhale, start to reach forward, frame the front foot with your hands, step that foot back for high plank, lowering halfway or all the way down, inhaling into low cobra or upward dog, exhaling for downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths in here. Last breath in. And then as you exhale, walk your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise to standing, come up all the way, don't rise all the way up. Chair pose. Coming into chair pose. Sit your hips low, pull your belly in tight, arms come straight up and forward. Deep breath in. And then exhale, rise all the way to standing this time. Okay, so one more time. You should definitely start to be feeling some heat now. I'm getting a little bit sweaty. As you inhale, sit down into chair pose. Reach the arms forward and up. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands on the mat, step back, high plank. And then we're going to lower halfway down or all the way down. Inhale into your back bend, low cobra or upward dog. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot right behind your right wrist. Drop that left heel down, rise for warrior one as you inhale. Deep breaths here. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to reach your arms forward. Get your hands onto the mat, step the right foot back, high plank. Lower halfway or all the way down as you exhale. Inhaling into cobra or upward dog. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot behind the left wrist. Drop the right heel down at an angle. Inhale to rise for warrior one. Left foot forward. Inhale, breath through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale. Exhale, start to reach the arms forward. Frame the front foot with the hands. Step the left foot back, high plank. Lowering halfway as you exhale or all the way down. Inhaling into cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale into downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Last breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. And we're just going to go right into our flow here. So set up your chair. This time I do want you to take, take the stance of either, it's totally up to you, either toes touching or feet are hips width distance apart. So we're sitting in the chair pose. Bring your hands this time into prayer in front of your heart. So we're going to come onto our tippy toes. So we're going to work a little bit of balance here, a little bit of core. So we're going to come up onto our tippy toes. We're going to start to lower all the way down, bringing the knees forward to sit basically on our toes. So a little bit of a toe sit here. And then you're going to start to pull your belly in towards your spine, squeeze your legs together as much as you can. And you're going to start to take your pinkies towards your knees. So we're sort of curling in. And then you're going to take your left elbow and start to turn your torso and turn your chest to face the right side of the room to see if you can hook the left elbow onto the right thigh. So we're kind of in this like twisting position. I'll turn this way to show you. So this is a lot of core here, right? So we're on our toes and we're twisting here. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, gently start to release back to center. And then you're going to start to turn towards the left and start to hook that right elbow onto the left knee. I know this is probably a lot on your toes. Just breathe through it. This is a challenging position, right? Take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, start to come back to center. Place the palms onto the mat, and you're just going to press into a forward fold. Deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Keeping your right foot forward, step the left foot back into a high lunge. You're going to rise all the way up, the arms come up overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands come through prayer in front of your heart. Start to tip forward and straighten that back leg out. And we're going to hook our left elbow. We're going to do that twist again, but this time into a high lunge. So we're hooking the left elbow on the right knee. So really straighten through that left leg. And you're going to press so firmly into the palms that you make yourself, or that it guides the twist even deeper, right? So see if you can push your sternum towards your thumbs. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly start to rise, but keep the twist. So we're trying to keep the shoulders and the arms facing that direction. We're still in a twist here, but we're in a high lunge. And then you're going to open up your arms wide like a T. Take a deep breath in. So you should feel a nice opening in the right shoulder here when you do this. Deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, you're just going to sort of windmill your arms down, like not even a windmill, it's like a clock. So you're just tipping your arms down and you're placing the left palm flat onto the mat. You're going to roll onto the outer edges of your feet, especially that left foot, and then you're going to stack the right leg on top of the left for side plank. You can also stack your feet parallel with one another so the right foot is forward. You can also drop that left knee down if a side plank is unattainable for you. So 3 options there. And we're holding for 5 breaths. Inhale through the nose, 1. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale, 3. See if you can lift the hips higher. Press the your front hip bones towards the front of the room or forward. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale out. Inhale. And then exhale, you're going to turn forward. You're going to come back to high plank. So come back on your tippy toes. Right palm comes down. And then either press immediately back to downward facing dog or option to move through a vinyasa flow. Coming into upward dog and pressing back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in through the nose. And a deep breath out. If you ever feel like you need to let go of a little bit of heat, you can always breathe out through your mouth. 1 more breath in. And then as you exhale, walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into upward, I do keep doing that. Halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose, hands come into prayer. Pull the belly in, sit your hips low. And then we're going to come up onto our tippy toes and start to lower all the way down. Knees come forward. Deep breath in through the nose. Find your balance. Squeeze your legs together. Squeeze your belly into your spine. Start to take your chest forward a little bit. And then using the strength of your core and your balance, start to hook that left elbow over to the right knee. Open up towards the right. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, we're returning to center. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, start to turn towards the left. Hook the right elbow onto the left knee. Open the arms, or open your chest over towards the left. Inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, start to slowly return to center. Place the palms on the mat. And then straighten the legs for forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. And then as you exhale, this time we're keeping our left foot forward and stepping our right foot back for a high lunge. Arms come up overhead as you inhale. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. As you inhale, take your hands into prayer. And then start to tip forward, straighten the right leg. Exhale, hook the right elbow onto the left knee. Oh my God. If you find that you're a little off balance, you can always widen your stance, widen the stance of your feet. So really see if you can push into the palms to broaden at the collarbones and find that spinal twist from the thoracic spine. Seeing if you can press your sternum towards your thumbs. 1 more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to rise for a high lunge, but stay into that twist with your hands in prayer. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to open your arms out wide like a T. So this time, left arm is back. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to just tip forward, taking your right palm on the inside of your left foot, left arm goes high. Start to roll onto the outer edges of your feet, especially that right foot, and then stack the left leg on top of the right for side plank. And again, option to stagger the feet or take that right knee down. And we're holding for 5 breaths. Inhale through the nose. See if you can take your tailbone down towards your heels and push your hips forward. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. 1 more breath. Inhale 5. And then exhale, plant the left palm down. Come back to high plank. And then either going straight back to downward dog or moving through a vinyasa. Inhaling into low cobra or upward dog. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. One more breath in. And then exhale, slowly walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose. Sit your hips low, bring your hands into prayer. Start to come up onto your tippy toes. We're gonna start to lower all the way down. So balancing on our toes. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly start to curl forward and then take your left elbow and hook it onto your right thigh. So if you can open up your chest and find that twist in that seated position or that balancing position. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly, see, a little bounce. Slowly make your way back to center. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, see if you can hook the right elbow onto the left knee. Inhale. And then exhale, start to shift back forward. You're going to place the palms on the mat, straighten the legs, come back into forward fold. Inhale into halfway lift. And then exhale, step the right foot, left foot back this time. Yep, right foot forward, left foot back. Rise for high lunge. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, start to tip forward, hands come into prayer, straighten the left leg. Hook the left elbow on the right knee, and then open up into that twist on the other side. Deep breath in through the nose. Palms are really, really pressing into one another. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, you're gonna rise into that high lunge twist with the hands together at first. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, open your arms out wide like a T. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale. And then exhale, tip your arms forward. Place the left palm on the inside of your right foot, right arm stays high. Roll onto the outer edges of your feet, specifically that left foot, and then stack the right leg on top of the left, side plank. And then, your option there is either drop the knee or stagger the feet. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more breath. And then as you exhale, plant the right palm down, come back to high plank position, and then your choice, either going right back to downward dog or moving through a vinyasa. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Breath in through the nose and exhale out. Inhale. And then as you exhale, walk your feet forward. Inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Sit your hips low. Hands come into prayer in front of your heart. Start to come up onto the tippy toes, and then we're going to lower all the way down. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, start to hook the left elbow on the right knee. Find that twist. Squeeze your legs together for balance. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, slowly return to center. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale over to the right, or towards the left. Right elbow hooks onto the left thigh. It's definitely balance work here. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly return to center. Plant the palms onto the mat. Straighten the legs, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, keeping the left foot forward, step the right foot back for high lunge. Rise all the way up as you inhale. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, hands come into prayer in front of your heart. Start to tip forward, straighten the back leg. Hook the right elbow onto the left knee to find that twist. Deep breath in and deep breath out. One more breath in. As you exhale, rise into that high lunge twist, keeping the hands as they are. Deep breath. And then exhale, open the arms wide. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, you start to tip forward. Place the right palm on the inside of the left foot. Left arm stays high. Roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Stack that left leg on top of it for side plank. Either staggering the legs or dropping that right knee down or stacking them. Deep breaths here. We'll take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, plant that left palm down for high plank, and then your choice, either going to downward dog or moving through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, we're just going to roll over the toes and lower the knees down. You're going to untuck the toes. Take your, actually, we're going to take our legs together. So we're going to do a modified child's pose. So we're going to sit back onto our feet. And you're going to take your fists together like this and place them right onto your low belly, resting on the creases, resting in the creases of your thighs and your low belly. And then you're just going to fold forward. So I'm just going to warn you that this is going to be intense on the belly, but it essentially is directly massaging our organs and getting, flushing out toxins and really like pumping through new blood and oxygen in there. So again, take your fists together, so knuckles together, right in the crease of your thigh and your low belly. And you're just going to fold forward over your fists and rest your forehead onto the mat. And breathe here. So again, this may be pretty intense. Just breathe as best you can. The longer you relax in this, the easier it gets, I promise. Take those nice, long, slow, deep breaths. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly start to rise back up. And you're going to come into tabletop pose. We're going to do a little bit of a hip stretch here, so a little hip mobility work. You're going to cross from this tabletop position. You're going to take your left knee directly in the center of your palm. So right now my left knee is right in the center. And I'm going to cross my right knee behind the left. And then I'm going to take my feet wide. So it's kind of hard to see, I guess, with this light. But I'm going to take my feet wide rather than touching together. So my calves and feet are spreading wide. And that will allow me to walk my sit bones back, walk my hands back and my sit bones back to sit in between my feet and my thighs, essentially. And right now I'm kind of all twisted up, right? So the goal is to, like, this is a pretty deep hip opener, so you're going to have some blankets and pillows nearby. But the goal is to get your knees sort of in line with one another, and then your feet are sort of out open wide. So what will happen is that your left hip is going to start to rise up. So take a pillow if you can't get both sit bones flat on the ground. Take a pillow and place it underneath your right hip, your right glute, so that sort of levels out your hips. And then you can start to like inch your feet forward a little bit. And then we want to try to get our knees stacked as much as we can. So we want our sit bones flat, our upper body is all facing forward. And then you can just start to rest your hands on your ankles. Keep your feet flexed. So you should definitely feel a stretch in the outer right hip and the outer left hip, especially in that outer left hip. Just readjusting here. And take those nice long deep breaths. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're just going to lean back and uncross your legs and then just shake it out. And then you're going to take your left leg and you're going to bend the left knee and start to take that left knee forward, and so that it's facing directly forward. So my right shin is sort of underneath my left hamstring right now. So we're just essentially setting up on the other side. And then you're going to take your right ankle and cross it over your right shin and your right ankle and cross it over your left knee. And then just start to work the left foot forward and start to work that right hip down and try to see if you can wiggle yourself into that pose on the other side. So we're trying to get our knees stacked on top of one another. Both sit bones are flat onto the mat. And again, your right sit bone may be so lifted that you need a pillow underneath your right sit bone might be so lifted that you need a pillow underneath your left glute, and that's totally fine. Keep your feet as flexed as they can, or flexed as you can. And then just rest your hands on your ankles or your feet and just take some deep breaths. But the more focus you have on your breath here too, the more you can sort of relax into this pose. So we really want to focus all of our awareness to the breath. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to rock backwards, uncross the legs, and then straighten them out and just shake them out. So we're going to come into a reverse tabletop position to basically just counteract all the things that we did. So we've been crunching in, we've been twisting a little bit. So we're going to reverse all of that using we're going to counter all of that with reverse tabletop position. So bend your knees and place your feet hips width distance apart, and your knees are like at a 45-degree angle-ish. And then your hands are behind you with the fingertips facing forward, palms are down. And then you're going to start to press into the palms and press into the feet to lift your hips high. So you're going to lift yourself so high up and then drop your head back so that you can literally make reverse tabletop position. So we want a flat front body as much as we can. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Squeeze the glutes, lift from the thighs, lift from the hamstrings. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly drop your hips back down to the mat. And then this time we're going to come all the way down to our backs. Draw your knees into your chest. And then take your knees towards your armpits. And then reach down with your feet, or reach down with your hands and see if you can grab the outer edges of your feet. And then see if you can start to take your feet up over your knees. And then see if you can take your knees even wider out towards your armpits so that your elbows are on the insides of your knees. So instead of being on the outside, we're seeing if we can get our elbows on the inside. So you're in happy baby pose. See if you can press your tailbone down towards the earth while you keep your heels right over your hips. And then maybe you rock side to side. Deep breaths here. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, gently release the feet. Draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. Just give yourself one final squeeze here. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, straighten the legs. Let the legs rest onto the mat. Heels are rested on the mat. Outer edges of the feet are flopping down. Arms come out wide next to you with the palms facing up. See if you can lift your tailbone off of the mat and pull it underneath you towards your heels so that you're rested more in your sacrum. And then see if you can lift your shoulder blades off of the mat and pull them together underneath you so that your chest is open wide and broad. Collarbones are broad. And then close your eyes. Let go of any breath control that you have. And start to notice if there's any areas of your body that you're still squeezing or you're still gripping or you're still like tensing up, you're holding on tension. Find those parts of the body and then let that gripping, let that squeezing, let that tension go. Just fully relax. Unclench your jaw. Let your lips be slightly parted with the tongue removed from the roof of your mouth and settling into the back of your throat. Eyes are gently fluttered shut. Remove the crease from your brow. And just enjoy this final resting pose, Shavasana. I encourage you to stay here for as long as you want. Enjoy this relaxation, preparing for sleep, preparing for the evening. I'm just gonna mute the video and shut the camera off, but just stay here as long as you'd like. And thank you for joining me.